The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as the holographic display flickered to life, showing the charred remains of the human diplomatic vessel, Peaceful Dawn. Ambassador Elena Martinez's final transmission played on repeat, her calm voice requesting safe passage through Zephyrian space, followed by the devastating plasma bombardment that left no survivors. Commander Raza Chen stood at the back of the assembly hall, his dark eyes fixed on the footage. His jaw tightened as he watched the footage, for the dozenth time, each viewing stoking the fire in his chest. Beside him, Dr. Anna Kowalski shifted uncomfortably, her scientific mind already calculating the implications of what they were witnessing. The Zephyrian Empire claims it was a defensive action, announced High Counselor Vextar, his crystalline form refracting the chamber's light. Ambassador Martinez allegedly carried biological weapons intended to contaminate their homeworld. A ripple of whispers swept through the assembled delegates from dozens of species. The Zephyrians, a proud warrior race that had dominated their sector for millennia, sat in their designated area with characteristic arrogance. Their leader, War Prime Kethrak, remained unmoved by the accusations flying around the chamber. Raza's fists clenched. He had served alongside Elena in the Terran Diplomatic Corps for 8 years. She was a pacifist who wouldn't harm a fly, let alone carry bioweapons. But more importantly, he knew what the Zephyrians didn't: humanity's true nature when one of their own was murdered. The humans will demand reparations, continued Vextar. Standard protocol suggests monetary compensation, and a formal apology should suffice. No. The single word cut through the chamber like a blade. All eyes turned to the human delegation section, where a lone figure stood. Fleet Admiral Sarah Morrison, humanity's senior representative, stepped forward with measured precision. Her gray hair was pulled back severely, and her uniform bore the scars of countless battles. Admiral Morrison, Vextar acknowledged. Please state humanity's position. Morrison's voice carried across the vast chamber without need for amplification. Ambassador Martinez was murdered. The evidence is clear. Her ship posed no threat, carried no weapons, and was destroyed without provocation while broadcasting peaceful intentions on all frequencies. War Prime Kethrak rose from his delegation's seating. Standing 3 meters tall with chitinous armor and razor-sharp claws, he cut an intimidating figure. The human speaks of murder, but we acted to protect our people from contamination. Our sensors detected biological agents aboard her vessel. Your sensors detected the lunch she packed, Morrison replied flatly. Ham sandwiches and coffee. The full manifest was transmitted to your ships before you opened fire. A few nervous chitters emerged from some of the smaller species delegations. The Zephyrians, however, showed no remorse. Regardless, Kethrak snarled, "What is done. We offer 10,000 standard credits in compensation for your inconvenience." The insult hung in the air like a toxic cloud. Anna watched Morrison's expression carefully, noting the subtle tightening around her eyes. The Admiral had served in the human-Centauri wars. She knew the look of someone calculating battlefield odds. 10,000 credits, Morrison repeated, slowly. For the life of our ambassador. It is generous, Kethrak replied dismissively, more than most species receive for such accidents. Morrison nodded once as if coming to a decision. She activated her wrist communicator, speaking clearly into it. Authorization Omega 77, execute Protocol Pandora. The words meant nothing to most of the assembled delegates, but Raza felt a chill run down his spine. He had heard whispers of Protocol Pandora in military circles, contingency plans so classified that their very existence was denied. Admiral, Vextar interjected nervously, surely we can resolve this through standard diplomatic channels. Diplomacy, Morrison said, still looking directly at Kethrak, was what Ambassador Martinez was attempting when you murdered her. The War Prime's mandibles clicked in what passed for laughter among his species. Your threats do not frighten us, human. Your people are weak, soft creatures who hide behind words instead of weapons. We have conquered 17 systems while you played at peace. Morrison smiled then, and Anna shuddered. She had seen that smile once before, during her graduate studies on Terra, when her professor had shown historical footage of humanity during their world wars. It was the smile of a predator that had been pushed too far. "You're right," Morrison said conversationally. "We prefer peace. We choose diplomacy. We sent Elena Martinez because she believed in finding common ground with every sentient species in the galaxy." Her voice hardened. "But you didn't kill a soldier, War Prime. You killed someone who was trying to understand you." Raza's communicator buzzed with an encrypted message. His blood went cold as he read it. "All human civilians evacuated from Zephyrian space. Military assets in position, Godspeed." "The thing about humans," Morrison continued, her voice carrying to every corner of the vast chamber, "is that we're very, very good at learning from our mistakes. 300 years ago, we nearly destroyed ourselves in nuclear fire because we couldn't find peaceful solutions to our conflicts. Since then, we've dedicated ourselves to diplomacy first, always." She paused, letting the words sink in before delivering the killing blow. "But we never forgot how to wage war." The chamber's main display suddenly shifted, showing tactical readouts from across Zephyrian space. 47 human warships, seemingly materialized from nowhere, hung in orbit around every major Zephyrian world. The impossible had happened. The humans had somehow bypassed every sensor net, every patrol, every defensive installation in the galaxy's most militarized empire. War Prime Kethrak's composure finally cracked. "Impossible. Our defenses were designed to stop the kind of warfare you understand." Morrison interrupted. "Direct assault, overwhelming force, honor-bound combat. But humans learned long ago that the best way to win a war is to make sure your enemy can't fight back." Anna's scientific mind was reeling. The logistics alone were staggering. To position that many ships without detection would require technology far beyond what humanity had publicly demonstrated. "Every Zephyrian military installation is now targeted," Morrison announced calmly. "Every command center, every shipyard, every orbital platform. Your entire war machine can be reduced to scrap in the next 30 minutes. The chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives from dozens of species began shouting simultaneously, some demanding explanations, others trying to mediate. But Kethrak stood frozen, staring at the tactical display showing his empire's complete vulnerability. "This is an act of war," he finally roared. "No," Morrison replied with devastating simplicity. "This is what happens when you commit an act of war against humanity. Elena Martinez was not just our ambassador, she was our extended hand of friendship. You chose to cut it off." Raza watched as the full implications sank in across the chamber. Humanity had just demonstrated that they could strike anywhere, anytime, without warning or detection. Every military strategist in the galaxy was mentally recalculating their assumptions about human capabilities. "However," Morrison continued, her tone becoming almost conversational again, "we're still human. We still prefer peace. War Prime Kethrak, you have two choices. Surrender Elena Martinez's killers for trial, provide full reparations to her family, and issue a formal apology to all humanity. Or explain to your people why their empire no longer exists." The silence stretched for long moments. Finally, Kethrak's shoulders sagged in defeat. The officers responsible will be surrendered for trial." Morrison nodded once. "Fleet Command, stand down to yellow alert. Maintain positions until full compliance is verified." As the human admiral walked from the chamber, Anna caught Raza's eye. They both understood what had just happened. Humanity had revealed that their 3 centuries of dedicated pacifism hadn't made them weak. It had made them terrifyingly creative about avoiding the need to fight. The galaxy would never underestimate the humans again. After all, any species that could wage war like that and choose not to was far more dangerous than one that simply couldn't.